Hello again, Gooners. I'm sorry about the low tone, but obviously the way we played against Norwich means that I can't provide you with any optimism. Perhaps a little tad of optimism, because as bad as we were against Norwich, are we worse than Spurs, who went down 4-2 against Chelsea? The answer to that, my friends, is we're not that bad, but we're not that good. So what have we learnt from this defeat against Norwich? Well, we've learnt that, as I said prior to the start of the season, we do need a new goalkeeper. Manoni is not the worst. He's certainly a decent third choice keeper. He might even have a case to be a second choice keeper. But is he a first choice keeper? In my opinion, perhaps not. Again, I've seen a lot worse. I think he would get in a lot of Premier League teams. But if we are serious about our title credentials, then surely he shouldn't be our first choice keeper. Should Chesney be our first choice keeper? Well, that's another story entirely. Obviously, I've been talking to a Polish guy about that situation, and he says to me that Polish keepers are moody by definition. Now, this is not something I've come up with. This is something I've heard. So, bearing that in mind, I wonder if we've done the right thing, really, having so much confidence in Chesney. And as you know, anyone that's listened to this vlog, I've never had any confidence in Fabianski, so I'd offload him at the earliest possible opportunity. When it comes to Manoni, I don't want to write him off just yet. Let's not forget. There was a lot of our fans that were ready to write off Alex Song. Okay, we can write him off now, but at least we got some money for him. Um, I'm not suggesting the same is going to happen with Manoni, but you've got to look at the facts. Song wasn't rated as a top player by our fans, and then he went on to become a player that our fans missed when he wasn't playing. Sorry about my hand zooming across the screen there, but these things can happen when you've lost to Norwich away from home, especially when I'm wearing my lucky top. This is my lucky top, by the way. I think we beat Southampton. It was a cricket score, let's be honest. And I wasn't expecting a cricket score against Norwich. They might be from the countryside, but they are not drinking cider prior to a match, that's for sure. So that doesn't mean we're going to just go there and roll over them. I never thought that for a moment. I thought we would win it, but I thought it was going to be tough. A single goal would have been enough for me. And when you look at our team, who played well and who didn't? Well, looking at Manoni, obviously he made a couple of mistakes. Aside from that, he didn't play that badly. 2 mistakes. It's not that bad, is it? When you look at the corporal, Carl Jenkinson, he did reasonably well. I think it was him. Somebody gave the ball away unnecessarily quite early on, and I think it was the corporal. But aside from that, anyway, didn't do anything else wrong. So another good performance from the corporal, who has definitely had promotion a number of times, in my estimation at least. And so yeah, I think he's going to go on to bigger and better things, and I'm expecting an England cap very shortly indeed, as of course he's decided that he's going to represent England now. It looks like he's going to get a chance. Roy Hodgson, obviously not one of those managers that has his head somewhere very dark and doesn't see the light. And I've got to be honest, I've not been Jenkinson's greatest fan all the time, but he deserves all the credit he's getting at the moment. So another good game from Jenkinson despite the result. So what about Mertesacker? Was he at fault for the goal? Well, having seen the replays, I'd have to say possibly very, very slightly, but unfortunately my mate Santos, he was the one playing Holt on side. So Mertesacker did the right thing. Mertesacker's a good defender, and how many mistakes did Mertesacker make in the game? I think you could count them on one hand at most. Perhaps you only need a couple of fingers. A couple of fingers, that's very apt. Vermaelen, did he play well or not? I think he did okay. I didn't see a lot wrong with him. Santos obviously made that major error. You might call it monumental based on the fact that Norwich scored. He played Holt on side. Aside from that, how well did he play? Not well enough, unfortunately. I really like Santos, but Santos is the kind of guy who's going to need a number of games to get back into his stride. So let's not be too harsh on him. Obviously, he's replacing Gibbs. Gibbs has been on a roll, and I would love to see Gibbs back as soon as possible. But at the same time, if Santos plays a number of games, you will see a different Santos to the Santos we saw today. So looking through the midfield, Rambo obviously suffering a confidence crisis. It's not really fair to have a go at Rambo too much. Ramsey's, to me, has got an awful lot of talent, but he's had a very difficult time. When you think about what's happened with Wales, with Chris Coleman stripping him of the captaincy, that's going to affect a guy, and I just don't think. I just think he's the sort of guy that needs a lot of reassurance, and it's just my estimation of the situation. And I feel very sorry for Rambo, and he didn't play well today. Let's face it. So I can't say any more than that, other than he got subbed, deservedly so, and didn't do an awful lot positive. But he did put a lot of effort in, so let's not take that away from him. Arteta was as good as we can expect from Arteta. He's consistent. He's always good. He's either brilliant or he's very good. I think that they're the two. That's the two choices we get with Arteta. It's going to be one or the other. And then, well, what about Cazorla? There's been much made of how you pronounce his name, but the way he played today wasn't like the Cazorla I've seen in the past. He was more like the Cazorla I've never seen before. Wasn't up to scratch in a Cazorla sense. So unfortunately, Cazorla didn't cut the mustard today. Or mustard, it didn't happen, and that was disappointing. And then you look at the rest of the team. Giroud, he's a big favourite of mine, but did he win enough balls in the air? Well, he started to win quite a few near the end, but it was too late by then. At the beginning, he'd scored a goal for France. Perhaps he was in the comfort zone. I don't know, but he didn't do enough for Arsenal. But let's keep the faith with Giroud. I'm not ready to lose faith with any of this team. I'll be honest with you. And what about Gervinho? Gervinho even didn't do enough for me. I don't see him as to me he's like a Hleb with a little bit extra. And I was never a big fan of Hleb, but it doesn't sound like you're clearing your throat when you say Gervinho, so perhaps I'll back him a little bit more than I did Hleb. But no, Gervinho has got off to a good start, and again, I'm very reluctant at this stage to really stick the boot into Gervinho. I know we're looking for scapegoats, but I'm not gonna blame Gervinho for this dire performance today. I'll just put it down to the internationals being, by definition, they destroy our league program, particularly if you're Arsenal and we've got so many players going out on international duty, and we've got a paper thin squad, as I've mentioned many times before. Paper thin. You want to see a piece of paper? That is our squad. That is our squad. It's that thin. It always has been, always will be, and I'm a bit upset about that. So I've missed somebody out. I'm trying to think. Oh, Podolski, again, another one on international duty. He's been put through the mill over and over again. He's expected to always perform up to a certain level, and I thought he didn't let the side down, and I'm not at all disappointed with Podolski. He did all right. Not great, but okay. So what else can I say about this team? There was one bright spot as far as I'm concerned. Serge Gnabry coming on as a sub, very bright indeed, and well, on another day might have even scored an equaliser, but it was, I think Giroud knocked it down with his head, and Gnabry came onto the ball, couldn't get his foot over it, unfortunately, and he sliced it well wide. But the point is, the guy's prepared to take a chance, and I didn't realise he was that good. I'll be honest with you. I think I saw him, I can't remember which game, but I didn't think he was that good. And now I can see why everyone's raving about him, because clearly the guy has a great future in the game if he keeps his head on his shoulders. Hopefully he will, unless he hears this and it goes to his head, but somehow I doubt it. And then what about Andre Arshavin? Another one, a bit like Santos, no match practice to speak of. Didn't do an awful lot, but it didn't do an awful lot wrong either. So again, looks like we're going to have to rely on him for a while, because looks like Oxlade-Chamberlain could be out. He's picked up an injury, unfortunately. It's a dismal day as far as we're concerned, but let's face it, we're Arsenal. We will turn it round. Don't you worry about that. Until the next time, up the Gooners.